I want to share a testimony with you. It's about a year old, but I never did a video for it. When you think that it's impossible, you have to rely on God and not your own wisdom, right? So a year ago, I was renting a house, and every year before that, the rent was going up like $100, $50, $150. The prior year was like $150, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what is he going to do next year?" And it started to get out of my budget, and I thought, well, it would be cheaper to do a mortgage than it would to rent now. So I talked to my realtor, who was a friend of mine, and she said, well, let's just do a loan and see where you're at so that when you're ready, you can go buy a house. Because at that time, in my situation, I didn't save a dime to buy a house, so I was not ready or prepared to buy a house. And so I said, okay, well, let's fill out the loan thing and see where we're at, and my credit and everything, and see what we're looking at. So when it's time, I'll be ready. And I filled it out, and she came back and told me, you know, the loan amount and everything. And I was like, well, that's a pretty good loan amount. And okay, so now I'm going to need to save my money. And she was like, well, let's just see, you know, let's send it to the mortgage company and see what kind of loan you qualify for so that you can be ready for, you know, whatever. And I was like, well, I mean, we can, but I don't have any money saved, so there's no way I'm going to be able to buy a house. She said, well, let's just do it. I said, okay. And I qualified for a loan. And if any of you know my story, you know 4 years prior to that, I had a short sale on another home, and I didn't think I was going to qualify for a loan. So it was pretty good to know that my credit was good and that a mortgage company was going to give me a loan. And so I was like, okay, now I can prepare to look when it's time, when I have some money saved. And she was like, well, let's just go look at houses now and let's just see what's out there. And I was like, you know, okay, so why get my hopes up? Why, you know, go through all this stuff if I'm not going to be able to get this house now? And she was like, come on, let's just do it. I was like, all right. So we went looking for houses, and we looked at a lot of houses, and there was probably like 3 altogether that I probably liked, and I put in bids for, and people kept overbidding me. And I was getting discouraged. I was like, see, I ain't had no business out here anyway because I didn't have no money to do this. So what are you doing, Mavis? And I was starting to get discouraged. So I started praying about it. And I was like, Lord, you know, if I ain't supposed to be out here and it's not my time, then, you know, let me know so I can stop all this now. And my realtor, you know, she was like, no, Mavis, let's just keep going. Let's just see. And she's like, why you know, she kept encouraging me. Oh, you know, God sends you people into your life at certain times to help you with the blessing, because if it wasn't for her encouragement, if it wasn't for her kind of pushing me and nudging me a little bit, I wouldn't be in my house right now. And so we kept looking, and I kept getting turned down, and there was things that I didn't like about these homes, and I didn't like the neighborhoods that I was going in, but those were the neighborhoods that I was going to get more house for my money, because it wasn't a big loan amount that I was getting. And so I was kind of getting discouraged. I really wanted to stay in my neighborhood, but the houses in my neighborhood were more money than what the house, to me, more money than what they were worth when you can go out there and get a bigger house for the same amount of money. And so I didn't think I was going to get anything in my neighborhood, so I kept looking further out, and that's why I kept getting denied. So I went back to God and I prayed, and I said, you know what, Lord, I mean, this is it, because I'm really getting discouraged, and let me know if I'm really not supposed to be out here. And I heard him say that I was going to get a house, and it was going to be less money than the market value for the home, and it's going to be a woman who has to relocate fast. And I was thinking, I'm going to get, okay, first of all, it's hard for me to get a house as it is now, but I'm going to get a house cheaper than what it's really worth on the market. I was like, okay. And I kept looking, and she came to me one day and she was like, you know, I know how you feel about your neighborhood and the houses in your neighborhood, but there's a house over there for sale. I think we should go look at it. And I was like, yeah, but still it's not, you know, over here it's too much money for this house. And so we get to I agreed, And I went to the house to look, and as we're walking up the stairs, she says to me that the lady who owns the house now has to relocate and sell the house fast. And I said, oh my God, this is my home. This is before I walked in the door. And so we walk in the door, and I'm looking around, and well, it wasn't quite in the shape that I thought it was going to be in. I mean, I didn't like the carpet, I didn't like the painting. There were some things that I didn't like about the house, whereas, you know, all the other houses, they looked really, really fancy with all their little fancy paints and decorations and all this other stuff. And so I'm walking around, I'm like, I'm getting ready to turn my nose up at this house, right? But then she tells me, you know, the price. I almost fell out because it was almost $20,000 cheaper than every other house on sale in the neighborhood right at the same time. So I was like, okay, well, let's put in, you know, our bid. And she put in the bid even lower than what the market or what they were selling the house for. I was like, girl, what are you doing over here, you know? Because I don't know if they're going to go for that. It's already cheap, and now you're trying to make it even cheaper. And she was like, well, let's just do it. And she put in the paperwork for it, and they said, okay. I almost fell out of my chair because, like I said, it was already almost $20,000 cheaper. Now she's making it even cheaper. And during the loan process, we were filling out the papers and stuff like that, and they come back to me and tell me, your loan was denied. And I was like, what? You told me my loan was approved. Now you're telling me my loan is denied after I found my house, my home? I mean, you know, what's going on here? So I was starting to get discouraged, and I was starting to panic and freak out. And my realtor, God bless her, so I'm telling you, she was sent by God, because she was like, you know, just calm down, Mavis, it's going to work out and what have you. And I'm praying, like, you know, come on, you said this was going to happen and this is going to happen. And it happened exactly the way that he said it was going to happen. So I started to get, you know, praying over the home. And come to find out, they had another loan program that they put me in for, and I qualified for it. Again, the short sale was the reason why I didn't get the first one, because it had to be a certain amount of years since I had the short sale, and I missed it by a year. So the second loan I qualified for because I fit the guidelines. But they weren't looking at the second loan before because they thought I qualified for the first one. But the second loan happened to be, they gave me way more money than the first loan for the down payment. And so my realtor went back to their realtor, and I'm thinking, oh man, they're going to like really go with somebody else pretty soon, because I'm starting to be a lot of trouble trying to wait on these loans and these papers and get this stuff going through. And then they asked for her to put more money down on the new loan. And I was like, okay, she's already selling it cheap. She has already went down on the price, and now we're asking her for money. There's no way. And she agreed. I mean, nothing but God. And so we get to, everything gets, you know, done finally, you know, after I'm done panicking and what have you, and I'm still praying about the home because I know what I heard. But it wasn't working out the way that I thought it would. And I was thinking that these denials were signs that I shouldn't be doing what I was doing, but yet they were, they may have looked like denials, but they were actually blessings in the disguise, because, like I said, I ended up getting more and more money. And I ended up getting a better house. And I ended up getting more house for my money. So I want to encourage you that when you're going through something and you, it looks like it's impossible, because it did look like impossible in the get-go, and then it starts looking real impossible during the process, to keep your faith up, be encouraged, because it was an exercise for my faith, honestly. So we get to signing the papers, and I asked the lady, you know, the other realtor, did other people want to buy this home? Did you get bids on this home? And she said, yeah. We even got people who were going to pay more for the home. She said, but we liked you. And I was like, oh, nothing but the favor of God. No matter what is going on around us, no matter how many things are coming against us, and no matter how many people were putting in bids for this home, they gave it to me. because of the favor of the Lord. And I was just like amazed and thanking God for everything that he has done. Like I said, it was a true test of faith. There was like at least 6-7 times that I was ready to give up because I really thought that I had no business looking for a home with no money. Turns out that that loan plus the lady's money, all of it came up to $11,000, and that was my down payment on my house. I didn't have to come up with any of it. None of it came out of my pocket. The only thing I had to come up with was the inspection and the mortgage transfer, something of another, but it was under $1,000, and I had the time to do it. We started this process at the end of April, and I got my loan approval in May. I was in my house by August, and when God is doing something for you, that stuff just rolls. And if you're like me and you think you're in control and you think you know what you're doing and you have to have everything step by step by step, you got to watch out, because that can block your blessing, because it moves so fast. It was so out of control for me. As a matter of fact, I wasn't in control of any of it, but that was to prove a point that I am not in control, that he is in control of everything. And it's just amazing how he has blessed me twice. Like you have to see the other video where I talk about the short sale. Now that was another. I didn't think he could top that, but he sure did with this video right here, with this new home right here. So I want you to stay encouraged, and I want you to remember that when he's for you, there's nothing that can stop you. And no matter what it looks like all around you, and the chaos and the denials and the turn downs, keep pushing through, because there's a blessing on the other side of that. So I just want to pray for you really quick before I go, and hope that you were encouraged by this video. So Father, I come to you today and I ask you, Lord, to give people the strength and to send people into their lives that are going to bless them. As you sent my realtor to me, Lord, she was truly a blessing to me, and I ask that for every blessing that you have for people out here that looks like it's impossible, where these miracles look like they are never going to happen and it's not going to take place, that you show them that you are a God of divine blessings and a God of miracles. I ask that, Lord, you create the right path for them and put everybody in place for that miracle and that blessing that they are going to need to fulfill the manifestations of your blessings, Lord. And I ask that you encourage their hearts, Father, when they get those denials, when they get those setbacks, when they get those delays, to keep pushing through and to keep holding on to the promise. You know, you promised them blessings. You promised them an abundant life. You promised them things, and they can have those things if they just don't give up. So, Lord, I ask that you put perseverance into each and every one of their hearts and minds, and give them the right mindsets, Lord, to go forth and accomplish those goals and those things that you have for them, Lord. And to remember that even though they think they're in control, that they're not in control, and to let you lead them and guide them, and to let you be in control of their lives, and to pray fervently and affectionately, and to stop and hear and listen to what you have for them, Lord. I ask that you bless each and every person watching this under the sound of my voice, Lord. I ask that you give each and every one of them that is looking for a home, a new home. I ask that you give them whatever they're looking for, more than they can think or imagine, Lord. And I ask you to bless them and increase them with prosperity and your love, and to show them, Lord Father, that you are a God of blessings and miracles. You are the God of the impossible if they just believe. Amen. See you next time.